Good morning and welcome to today's LinkedIn Live session. For those that have been watching others, this is part of a whole series of LinkedIn Lives where I've been diving in to content which is in my upcoming book called Planning for Success, a practical guide to setting and achieving your social media marketing goals. This series of LinkedIn Lives is almost over, and I can finally say that the files for the book, the Kindle, the audiobook, the paperback have all been uploaded to Amazon. The Kindle version will be ready on Friday this week, the 27th. I will pop a link into this event after the session. The paperback exists. Here is the first preview copy. It is still churning through Amazon file processing, so I don't have a date for when it will be available, but it will be any day, and it is real for all of those that I've been talking to about it. It does finally exist, so I hope you're ready to get a copy when it is available. We are live. Please do use the live chat to say hello, share comments, ask questions. We are going to run about 30 minutes, depending on how much we end up talking about this topic. And my guest today is the incredible Roger Jones. Smiling. I don't know if you remember this, Roger. When we first met, it was, I think, at the National Motorcycle Museum in Birmingham. I think it was 2017, 2018. It was an industry event, and you were speaking, and you had what I would dread, the after lunch slot. No one really wants the after lunch slot, but I vividly remember you because you sat in the back corner of this dark room in the Motorcycle Museum, just tapping away all morning. And I'm thinking, has he not written his presentation yet? You know, has he got loads of work on? What's happening? And then I still honestly believe, and if you're watching this and you've heard me talk about this, this is the man who did the presentation where you had basically been researching the delegates, hadn't you, to see what you could find out online. Were their Facebook profiles open? Could you then go and find pictures of their houses on Google Earth? And it was all about managing your digital footprint and privacy settings.
Oh my word, yes. Online reputation management has evolved so much.
Yeah.
And number one, many congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
Number two, thank you for inviting me on today. And number three, everybody, please check your online reputation, check your profiles online, and make sure that people like me can't see things that you don't want them to.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's also good because sometimes we don't talk for ages, and I almost feel like I don't need to tell you what I've been doing or working on because I know that you know.
Yeah, living my life vicariously via your LinkedIn Live.
Yeah, well, and I will share. Follow Roger on Instagram because his dog, it was your dog's birthday and he had a very nice outfit for his birthday.
Yes.
Yes.
Stanley was 7 yesterday.
There you go. So apart from dressing up your dog and monitoring people online, what do you do in your day job, Roger?
Yeah, so been running Actionable Insight now since November 2010, so coming up to a good anniversary. And how it's evolved in regards to informing companies' sort of digital strategy and transformation through e-commerce plans. I seem to have got more involved in these deep online web search, social media, CRM content audits, and then benchmarking them, the organizations in a logged in state, benchmarking them to their competitors in potentially many different countries in logged out states. And then when we've got all this sort of this online audit and benchmark, we do these two things. We look at observations and suggested actions, and against those suggested actions, we score them 1 out of 5 for the ease and speed of completing the tasks, the ability to generate revenue, and the ability to transform or change the organization. And then subject to which stakeholder we're working with, whether it's the CMO usually wants the ease and speed, which jobs are easy to complete. The CFO wants to know how can we generate a good, fast revenue, and the chief executive wants to create transformational change. So it means that these sort of online audits can inform the digital strategy and transformation going forward, and seem to be working with organizations in the UK, but also have picked up a sort of a fan base in Germany, which is quite nice.
Amazing. And I'm going to have to pick up with you and hear more about that, because it's always fascinating and you always show me tools which are really cool and interesting as well. But our topic for today is search, and social media versus search engines was the title, because a key trend emerging over, well, it's going to be more than a year, but it's been coming out in the data for about a year around the use of social media for search versus search engines, particularly by younger demographic groups, and how, you know, social search is almost taking over the use of search engines. And I think for me, the people that I speak to, work with, this is really, really critical that we understand this. And not only that we understand this, but that we share this with our colleagues as well, because unfortunately, all too often, social media is that add-on, the add-on at the end of a campaign or the end of a press release, or, you know, pop this on social. And with this insight, this data, this trend, this consumption and use of people online, this is meaning that, you know, social media is really business critical to getting our businesses found all the way through the funnel. And I want to explore this with you in a way that, not to overwhelm everyone and kind of think, oh no, this is, you know, is social media going to become like the dark art that we might think SEO has become? Social media marketers are dealing with so much change every day, platform changes, content to create, insights to review. So I don't want to overwhelm, but at the same time, I want people watching this, whether it's live or on the recording, to really understand the importance of social search.
Oh my word, it's a big subject, isn't it?
Take it away. 30 minutes. Let's see what we can do.
Conversation, so there's sort of there's the theoretical and the technical. Which shall I chat through first? Let me talk to the theoretical first, but then I won't forget the technical coming from behind it. So yes, there is the evolution. You know, we're no longer typing in keywords; we're asking questions. The key trends out of this are the rise of visual search. Is the fact that we're searching with our eyes.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to go to a box and get a set of results. We want to search in context. But it's the results that we see. It's, you know, my particular, you've said, my particular love of sort of Instagram and sort of partial love of Pinterest. I've championed this sort of visual search. And we no longer want to just see a set of results, a set of search engine results pages for it. We do want to see how things look in context. And I think that this rise of the visual search, searching with our eyes, sort of thought number one. Then so the second one is bizarre, because let's just take TikTok as my another bit for the moment, right?
Yeah.
So if you and bearing in mind that TikTok added at the beginning of October within the search platform the ability, you know, sort of, when you're doing your campaign ad sets and ads within the ad set level, you can do a toggle to do to come up in search results, and they're integrating a sort of an AI search within their algorithm. But when you do that, so I was looking last night for a particular brand, a watch, just something I just fancied, and the thing is that the actual brands themselves weren't present on TikTok. You know, maybe not the right thing for they feel it's not the right thing for them. But lo and behold, there were 20 or 30 influencers and micro influencers doing get ready with me, open the boxes and reviews of their products. So whether you like it or not, there's the searching with our eyes, and then we've got the influencers and the micro influencers that are creating the content on our behalf. And it's crazy not to be a part of the party, not to be there, because rolling that forward is that with regard to it's creation of sort of time sensitive exclusive content? Is that, what do you want to create? Do you want to create something that's there forever, the posts, or do you want to create something that's time sensitive, and it just feels more exclusive if you're of the moment, of the moment and in the moment? And then what I'm seeing on Instagram and on TikTok is it's seamless social commerce. So we're plugging our e-commerce platforms into the social media platforms, so that we've got seamless e-commerce there. If you like the product, you see it in context, you look at all the pluses and minuses of it, and then you can browse, but then you can go through and complete, and that's an absolute joy. And I suppose, going back to what I was saying about the influencers and the micro influencers, then that user generated content is almost like your social proofing for you. It's like, okay, well, this is what they're saying about, this is what the brand says about it, but this is what the influencers and the micro influencers are saying about it. So it's kind of stacks up as a product. Let's go with it. And just as a sort of the thought on that is that this simply isn't possible in any other platform. So it's got to be the way it's going forward. So it's going to be this way.
So to pick up on that point of social proof, when you're searching a social media platform, do you think that means, because there's user generated content and influencers, that people are trusting the search results on social perhaps a bit more than Google search results?
Yeah, but we all know, and Google created and is now trying to slightly decimate the sort of the search industry by that social proof. It does reinforce, and especially when you see a product in context and seeing it being used, and opening the boxes, checking it out, going through the test reviews. Did one recently on an electric scooter. And you can see what the thing's actually like, and how it performs, and I think that really does sort of reinforce the product. You have a perception of the product, but then you have that reinforced by that social proofing.
So if people are starting to use social media platforms for search, they're finding it valuable as well. So it's kind of, you try it once and then you kind of think, well, I'll just keep searching this way because it's giving me the insights and the information I want. I've no need to go back to a search engine.
Yeah, it is kind of beautifully addictive, isn't it?
It is. So it's here, it's happening on social media platforms. But let's go back to the theory part of search. And we were talking when we were prepping for this session about search intent and how important it's going to be for people to understand the different types of intent when people are searching. Yeah,
so we're prolific users of SEMrush. I'm not paid for by them, but we look at intent in using the 4 definitions that SEMrush come up with. We've got navigational, we've got informational, commercial, and transactional. And I'll just go through those. So navigational is where users want to find a specific page, or they want to find a specific page. Informational is where they're wilfing, what am I looking for, and they want to learn something about a particular subject. Commercial is that they want to do some research or some checking out before they make a purchase. And then transactional is straight up and down, they want to make a purchase. And when 100,000 years ago, we would look at creating a funnel, right? And can you remember, right? You can remember sort of doing sort of great big wall charts on what's the user journey and putting it all in a funnel. Well, let's leave the funnels and put those into the museum. And then let's talk about flywheels. So if we take put the customer in the middle, and then around the flywheel, and a flywheel being a set of concentric circles that lay out what a funnel was, but now in a sort of a continually moving moving sort of process. You've got the customer in the middle, and you've got your awareness and consideration and purchase and loyalty in the middle. Then you've got your types of people. Then you're trying to then find out what questions people are asking at each stage of their user journey, and the questions, rather than the keywords, the questions that people are asking as they enter that flywheel in whatever stage they're at, change the journey stage, because then we can then look at what their touch points are, and then we can then look at what content needs to be created to answer the questions at that particular journey process. And then, as marketeers or as business people, then we can then look at the process and the data that's being collected, and the platform that we're going to use to take the user onto that next stage. So I suppose, in answer to your question, is that the four sort of states of intent define the questions that people are asking online, and if you answer the questions that people are asking online, then by definition you can become more interesting.
It's all about questions, and I've written down my learning from today is wilfing. That's my new term today. What am I looking for? Yeah, I love that. Love that. I'm going to use that. Okay, so we've talked about what search is like, content, search intent. What does this mean for us as business owners, as marketers? What do we need to do with this knowledge now, knowing that social is so important for search?
Just on, I'll go back one sec. Worked with an organisation that was going to through a merger and acquisition process, and just we actually applied a financial value to the social media audience, and said, well, they may be engaging, rather than sort of signing up to a newsletter or going onto the website, they may be engaging with the brand for quite some time in social space, and have quite a high level of engagement there before they go through to that next stage of intent. So what I'm trying to say is that seamless social commerce is here, and rapidly expanding as a channel, and needs to be part of your omni-channel approach. So going back to that, and when looking at, I suppose it's trying to understand as to, yeah. So we're a marketeer, and it's looking at search engines and social. So you've got to think about the content consumption, whether the search engines are there to answer specific questions, whereas the social media is more of a dynamic engagement, or more, it's more dynamic engagement. You can have more of a greater interaction, and it's working out. Search engine is quite passive, whereas social media is much more active. And even down to the definitions of the metrics. My love of digital analytics. The metrics of success in search is clicks, click-through rates, percentages, those hard metrics. Whereas in social, it's likes, comments, shares, and engagement ratios. And I suppose you've got the two, and you've got the overlapping territories. So as Instagram, Pinterest, and especially the sort of love of TikTok here is, as they're overlapping territories here, that all of a sudden those metrics are starting to be sort of merged. And just, I don't know whether now's the right time is, but that I'm working with one client and who have a number of products.
Yeah.
And thousands of them, in fact. And so we've chosen 10 products, and we're doing nothing with. We're not touching those products at all. Okay. We know their search engine results. We know their sort of social engagement. We know their social status. And then with another 10 products, we're optimizing likely SEO page titles, meta descriptions. And with a further 10 products, we're adding what I think is going to be the key is adding structured data. Because some of these where we're seeing, we're speaking here about search engines and social media without talking about the elephant that's just trampled the house down, and AI chat. A stat is that there were 8 billion searches a day on search engines, 2 billion a day on social media, and 22 billion interactions, not searches, on AI chatbots.
Wow.
So it's my hypothesis is that the large language models, if we can align our structured data, and you can apply that to JSON LD, you can apply that to video, pictures, words, and then all of the classifications, which is a really deeply dull subject. You can apply all of those to your content in order to make it more searchable, because my theory here is whether Google and the increasing sort of beautification of Bing, together with the increased search algorithms within the social media platforms, are being conjoined or combined with the AI chat platforms. And that the enhancement of the application of structured data to our video, picture, word, and classification of word content will enhance our search engine results in all three.
And they are becoming integrated, aren't they? Because TikTok are testing integrating Google search into their own search results as well. So actually it's layered, isn't it, rather than in those boxes.
I think they're sticking in a bit of Wikipedia as well.
Why not?
Or they're really playing with that. So what we're saying is that that sort of SEO is no longer just for websites. Is that this sort of some symbiosis of social media and SEO, and that and I'm particularly playing, my hypothesis here is that the application or the use of structured data is going to enhance search in all three.
Yeah, and we have to, if we strip it back to some more social media basics as well, we do know it's about getting found. So therefore we need to complete our profiles, look at our bios. TikTok increased the character limit in their captions from 300 to, was it now 3,000 or something crazy? That is not for the user, is it? That is for search and for keywords. So getting found on social media, and I know that I'm not sure if you're watching, but with one client, we often have the conversation around looking at our results in terms of non-followers finding us and engaging, looking at our content versus existing audience as well. So there's the thing about social media is there's so many different layers and metrics. And let's go back to your point about testing, because I think this is a huge takeaway from today as well, of your 10 control group do nothing, 10 do this with it, 10 do that with it. And that's what we have to keep doing, is find the answers in our own data and test our own hypotheses.
We were looking at another parallel test. Here we go, coming out with is you can see within Google Search Console or with GA4 or whether Analytics, Matomo or Adobe Analytics, whatever you're using, we can see branded search versus unbranded search.
Yeah.
And many organizations used to think, yes, so a client at the moment has got a 92% branded search traffic to their particular website, and for them, compared to their competitors that are down in the sort of 70s and 60s, and 60 is where I was more expecting it to be. And it's the reason is that level of brand strength, a brand search, a strength or a weakness? Because it means that if somebody knows your name, they're going to find you. But if somebody doesn't know your name but is looking for the particular product or service that you're selling, then they're not going to find you. And it's how you use the search, the social, and the AI platforms in order to enhance your generic search as opposed to your branded search. And I think I seem to it's understanding as to within the social search, my search is much more meandering. It's much more let's see where I'm going here. Mm-hmm. So going back to the intent, I suppose what you're saying is going back to the intent. I'm more navigational or informational in my social search, and much more commercial and transactional in my Google and Bing search.
And that branded and unbranded comes back to the funnel and the flywheel and the stage of the journey as well. And I think there's other layers in there as well, isn't it? Because we could probably separate this out into a conversation around, in a B2B context, how do people search for work-related products and services versus consumer-related, when perhaps that is your more relaxed search as well. And I know people are using TikTok and Instagram now for finding hotels and holidays. And as you said, the Get Ready With Me's for makeup and fashion as well is entirely suited to social.
If you're not testing, if you're not in the party, you're just going to be. If you're not okay, in answer to yes, that the use is prolific, and if you're not there, you're just going to have content created about you, whether you want to lead the conversation or just be part of it. And I think this is bizarre level of control that some organizations think that they have over what's going on. And if they want to be in control of their own destiny, then they should be leading the conversation rather than just be part of it.
And Roger, that's just reminded me of a project we've worked on together before. Is we could do a whole nother one of these around social media listening and the data and the findings as well. But let's leave it for today at you need to be part of the party. You need to be testing. I did say at the beginning that I was hoping that this wouldn't overwhelm people watching, but and I really hope it hasn't, but just open people's minds as to how powerful understanding search intent and the role of social media in getting found is going forward.
Just on that, just going back to your previous point, let's put to bed the thought that search and social e-commerce is for business to consumer. You can add structured data to business services. That you can engage in social search for business, for services. It isn't just a product-based thing; it's a service-based thing. I think that business to consumer, business to business thing is also merging or changing rapidly. And I think the thought here is to just run the tests and run them not just for a week, run them for good 10, 12 weeks. Then extrapolate the data and work out what's going on or what you should do next.
Yeah, that's what the data is there for, isn't it? To tell you what to do or stop doing as well. Roger, thank you for joining me this morning. I think we'll do some more of these because I think there's lots of areas we can dive into that people will find really interesting, the listening one as well. So if you have watched live, thank you. If you're watching the recording, thank you. As I said, the book does touch on this, but nowhere near as deep as this.
It's amazing.
Read the book, listen to the audio, and if you have detailed questions on data, then I will include Roger's details as well, because I'm sure people would love to get in contact with you and have similar conversations to the ones that you and I have around data and tools and everything. So for today, thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you. Take care.